All right, it's the finally Friday edition of Weather for Weather Geeks with special guest Mike Joyce.
Hello.
In the house with us this afternoon. And we're getting set for kind of an interesting day coming up tomorrow.
Yes.
Rain, and then, yes, we have to talk about snow. We do indeed. And
I don't want to mention that tomorrow night.
No.
I don't want to, but I have to.
Tomorrow night you're going to be on the spot. It's
Yeah.
probably going to be snowing when you go on the air
Right.
in most spots at 6 o'clock tomorrow
Right.
evening, or it'll be kind of transitioning to snow anyway, right about then. So we'll get to that in just a second. Of course, we always like to start with what's going on right now. We had our showers earlier today, and those have pretty much faded away, still moving through central PA, but now we're just stuck with a lot of clouds. We did have some holes in the clouds earlier. It was actually pretty nice outside.
It was.
Earlier today. We had a marathon photo shoot
Oh, man.
with all of the anchors here at 21 News.
We just love that.
Oh,
right?
we had a great time.
Yeah.
I wish we could have done it for 4 or 5 more hours.
Mhm.
Note the sarcasm.
Yeah.
So that's why we're getting this online a little bit late today. But when we were over there, there was some sun here and there, and when the wind wasn't blowing, it actually felt pretty good outside. So unfortunately, that's about to come to an end. Let me pot up the temperatures here. And you can easily see where our cold front is. It's 60 in Pittsburgh, it's 46 in Cleveland, and we've dropped to 48 here in Youngstown at this hour. So there's our front right about here. It's coming, and that front will usher in not real cold air, but chillier air, yes. Nothing like we've had recently. We're not going to see lows tonight in the teens or anything like that. But this will set the stage for tomorrow's event, which, again, is a little complicated. We'll get to it in just a second. Broader view of things this afternoon, we actually have the threat for severe weather once again down here in parts of Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. Some pretty nasty-looking storms down there. Whole bunch of rain, panhandle of Florida. And otherwise, things are fairly quiet this evening. And I'll bring up a quick look at where our cold air masses are. And no surprise, it's up here across the Midwest. But even there, it's close to freezing. We're out of the dead of winter now, so
Right.
the map looks cold, but it's not that cold. It's not as cold as it has been. So that's the overall theme, and boy, are you going to like the temperatures for next week. Let's talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow, we've got a complicated situation heading our way. We're going to start out our simulated radar here with the first thing tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Yeah, here we go. Let the data load up here, and at 8 a.m. I think we're still dry, but precipitation's approaching from the south and west. Here's our low down across south central Kentucky, down around Bowling Green, and the rain is approaching from the south and west at daybreak. So you won't have to run into any raindrops if you're out and about first thing tomorrow. But here's midday, right around 11 a.m., and that's when, pretty good-looking band of precipitation out here. Lima, Dayton, Columbus. Maybe nothing quite yet here in Youngstown, but we're getting there. So what do you think as far as a start time on average for the rain tomorrow? Noonish, generally?
Yeah, probably right around there, yeah. And then we'll see that continuing for a few hours after that, and that's where it starts to get tricky.
Exactly. It's going to be a raw afternoon tomorrow. Once the rain pushes in, that'll be the end of the temperature rise tomorrow. The temperature will start dropping, and we'll end up in the 30s. I've stopped things here at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And our low down near Charleston, precipitation up here, and yes, this will be rain for most of the Mahoning Valley, but some other types of precipitation might be going on out in western Ohio tomorrow afternoon as the cold air continues to try to wrap in there, bring up the precipitation types here. And yeah, there's the snow. Lima, Toledo, maybe down to Dayton. We're still on the rain side here, but you'll notice at 2 in the afternoon that the mixed line might already starting to be approaching.
Yeah, it's getting close.
So I think on average, we're going to start to see mixing and then a changeover to rain by maybe 4 or 5 o'clock as an average. First places north and west of Youngstown, last places south and east. So it may take until well into the evening for East Liverpool to see anything other than rain. But up in Newton Falls and Mespo and even down towards Warren, that changeover will probably start to occur, 3 or 4 o'clock, something like that. So the most important question we have here is, by the time it's cold enough for it to snow, how much moisture is going to be left over? And that'll determine how much snow generally accumulates. And bring up the predicted radar here. Still some pretty good precipitation around here at 5 o'clock in the evening. Here's 7 o'clock in the evening. Let the data come up here. And the precipitation's starting to wind down but by this point, it's probably cold enough for snow. And so if we're going to get our quick accumulation of snow in a lot of places, it's probably going to be around this time, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. And the big question now, once we've determined, all right, here's the timing, what's our snowfall, what are amounts looking like. And here's the latest SREF ensemble model forecast. If you've watched these videos or followed my blogs before, I've explained this a few times. Basically, we take a model, tweak the initial conditions 21 different times, and each time the tweak is made, it's run again, and each outcome, all 21 of those outcomes are plotted up here as a line. The darker line is the average of all of those 21 runs. A couple things that your eye is drawn to here. First of all, the average in Youngstown on this model is about 3 inches. But you have to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt, because look at these weird stragglers up here. Here's a run that gives 9, 10 inches. This one up at the top, almost off the chart, is almost a foot. We're going to discount those, I think, for the time being. I don't think anyone believes they're going to get a foot of snow.
Right. Especially this time of year, it would be pretty tough.
And precipitation is going to be still falling during the daylight. In late March, if it's going to snow during the daylight, it needs to snow really hard for it to accumulate quickly, and that just doesn't seem likely. So the average is being pulled up by these weird stragglers at the top. The other thing you'll notice, a lot of lines more clustered down here towards the very bottom of the graph. And that's where the majority of our, what we call members of this model are kind of centered. And those are more in the 0 to an inch or maybe 2 zone. And that's why, I think the average shown here is being artificially drawn too high. So, I think this jives generally with what our ideas are. I think, coding inch.
Yeah.
If someone's going to get 2 or even maybe 3 out of this, it's probably going to be up in northwestern Trumbull County. Here's the European snowfall forecast. Has 1.1 near the airport, southeastern Trumbull, but under an inch. Boardman, Pullman, Struthers, Camel, down towards East Palestine, East Liverpool, Newcastle, even over into Mercer. This could be an inch or less. The best chance of getting couple of inches, a few inches even, it's going to be in this zone up here, Akron, Streetsboro, over towards Mespo, up into Geauga County, Ashtabula County. So this looks reasonable to me on the European model. Other models have some slightly different ideas. Some models even have quite a big difference in their ideas, but we're going to kind of discount those right now. We're more focused on what seems to be a more reasonable solution at this point. We have to kind of ignore the strange outliers that tend to be out there in the world of computer models. Notice there is kind of a bullseye here on the European, closer to Dayton, maybe 6 inches out there. So that could be a bullseye. Another bullseye is going to be up in New England. Some of these hot pinks, green and white mountains in New Hampshire and Vermont, the Adirondacks in New York, up into Maine. That's going to be another bullseye out of this. Boy, they don't want any more snow up here where they were just dealing with that enormous nor'easter couple of days ago. That's the last
incredible.
Oh man, it was. And so now the last thing they want to see is more snow up there. All right, so let's get past tomorrow. We're getting over 8 minutes, so we'll cruise through this quickly. Sunday's going to feature some improvement. Clouds will be followed by sun, and then Mike, finally.
It's going to be great.
Boy, are we going to be more popular next week.
I know. I'm excited for just that.
Yeah, exactly. Our popularity has been waning, of course, as winter has lingered. A lot of people are unhappy with their local weather people. Of course, it's not our fault, but
we don't have magic powers.
We don't.
I get asked that, but we don't have them.
We don't have them yet, anyway. But we do still get blamed, and that's all right. We have thick skin. But we're going to be more popular next week. Monday's beautiful. Here's Tuesday. A little bit cloudier Tuesday, but probably even warmer Tuesday. It's not out of the question that 70 degrees is felt in some backyards across the valley, particularly south of Youngstown. I think 70 is almost a sure bet in Columbus and Zanesville and places like that. So, boy, Tuesday is going to be nice. First part of the week a lot better than the second half of the week. Wednesday looks cloudier, maybe no rain just yet, but then Wednesday night and especially into Thursday and Friday, I think there's going to be a few different waves of rain that come through. Opening day for the Indians is next Friday, a week from today. Too early to really get specific with the forecast, but certainly the chances for rain at the end of next week look a little higher than the beginning of the week. Finish things up with a long-range temperature outlook. This is based on the GFS ensemble model. Black line that runs through the middle here is average. Here, of course, is our spike above average coming up for early next week. Notice, of course, below average for a time this weekend. But then after that spike early next week, generally the trend is at or below average through the longer range. I think this model might be a little bit too cold. The European longer range outlook is actually a little bit warmer than this. So I think the general thing we take away from this is that the first 2 weeks of April are not likely to be super cold or super warm. I think the general idea is that there's going to be some back and forth, but it's not going to be intolerable, it looks like, through the first half of April. Surely at this point we can say with a pretty fair amount of confidence that the worst of winter is finally behind us.
Yes.
We've probably seen our last day with a high below 32. We've probably seen our last morning with temperatures in the single digits and lower teens. Spring is going to start winning more and more of the battles, finally.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you'll see Mike on 21 News this weekend, 6 and 11. You'll see me tonight, 6 and 11, since it is Friday, right?
It is.
My days are thrown off because you're here.
I'm here on Friday. I'll be back on Monday too, so it's we're all over the place.
Our schedule's all screwed up here, but Mike will keep you up to date on what's going on tomorrow evening as the snow flies, maybe one last time here in the valley. Yes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.